It has both political and legal connotations. Politically, I can appreciate the passion and possibly even associate with the views being expressed by senior counsel, Mr. Gentua. Legally, I am not sure if I agree.
Thank you.
Why?
With the writ that they have before the Supreme Court, and I'll explain why. Yeah. This is not the first time there seemed to be a conflict between history and law.
Thank you.
When, what's the name of the gentleman who died in the US who had the knee of the police officer on his neck?
Oh, yes.
George Floyd.
George Floyd. Yeah. When George Floyd was murdered, discussions of that nature, as a result of the demonstrations that followed, discussions of that nature came up, not just in the United States of America, but I remember even to a large extent in the UK, where there were concerns being raised about statutes of UK citizens who were prominent slave traders and had associations with the African, Royal African Company that clearly dealt in slave trade. And they had their statutes in universities, sometimes in towns. And people were calling for those statutes to be pulled down because times have changed. And I remember reading a book, The Law in a Time of Crisis, by a Supreme Court judge, a former Supreme Court judge in the United Kingdom, Lord Sumption, where he said that there seemed to be a conflict between history and law. That because at the time that those people were engaged in the slave trade, it was legal. But the values of modern society has changed.
Thank you.
So should we take the values of modern society and undo what was legal, even though today's current values abhor what was done in the past? And I think that is the point we find ourselves today. And that's why I said that it is both a political question and a legal question.
Point of order. Didn't President Akufo-Addo go to Europe and ask for repatriation for the slave trade?
I'll get there, Mr. Gentleman. Just be a bit patient. Even in your own submission, it exposes that contradiction and confusion between history and law. Because here, you also admit that when it comes to naming of,
Flagstaff House.
Flagstaff House, when you made reference to the Flagstaff House, conveniently, I am also for Flagstaff House. But in truth, politically, it will look like glorifying the past, especially the colonial era, as against our own current values. But when it comes to Kotoka, I'm coming. So that's why I'll get there.
In Nigeria.
When it comes to Kotoka,
the British
irrespective of what Kotoka might have done, others can argue that historical intervention...
I'll be reading that to you here.
Wait, others can equally argue. That's why I'm being careful not to take a side.
Yes.
Others can also historically argue that it is there so that we don't forget the memory of the past.
Thank you.
And the role of the likes of him.
Thank you.
Because we also in the NDC, we have Jerry John Rawlings. Yes. They may be right. And I know the basis upon which the writ has been filed. And I'm coming to the legal writ of it to give you that analysis. Legally, I think it has been filed at the back of the 31st December case.
The NPP
which
versus
is the NDC
AG.
Versus AG, NPP and AG. Now, the Supreme Court was emphatic that our constitution can have retrospective effects when it comes to issues of acts that sought to undermine previous government. If the acts were military in nature, the Constitution would not indulge in it and celebrate it under this current 1992 Constitution. But maybe one thing your lawyers missed out was that the Supreme Court judgment, especially the one clearly given by Francois JSC as he then was, did not end there. It also proceeded to say that any acts overthrowing a constitution or declaring Ghana as a one-party state, this constitution is against it. And legally, I'm not going to do politics here. This constitution is against it. So if you are not careful, the Supreme Court, because by somewhere in 1964, Nkrumah had declared Ghana a one-party state. The Supreme Court is likely to conclude that indeed the decision by Kotoka and Afrifa to overthrow Nkrumah was actually in service to the 1992 Constitution and is not in conflict in Article 3 with the 1992 Constitution. Because the Constitution in its spirit
God bless you.
abhors. I'm talking law here. Unfortunately, not politics.
He's doing your bidding.
And there's history.
Okay.
coming.
He's talking law.
Please allow Hamza land, then I can
Precedent.
continue.
You see, so there is
Your
that-
legal fee, please. Your legal fee.
Which takes precedence. But
So you see, but okay, I'll get there. You see, so that is my confusion. The Supreme Court is likely to say that that act of declaration of Ghana as a one-party state constituted an affront to the spirit of the 1992 Constitution, and so heroic. They may throw the writ out. I'm pretty much convinced that based on the principles of 31st December case, established, the Supreme Court is likely
Because that was
to
the
follow.
reasoning for
Yes, that was the reasoning.
Yeah.
But you see, I told you that there's a conflict between history and law. The time has come for us to have that discussion as to whether we are willing to annihilate most parts of our history because they were military in nature or they were associated with coup d'etats. This is a political question. And that is why I say I associate with him partially. When he said that even if the court fails to act, President Mahama should act. And so for me, it's an issue of political
Let me ask
question.
a question. Let me ask a
The
question.
political
Just before you go,
angle
let me ask a
will be
question. Kotoka International Airport was named before 79. Did it stop the 79 coup?
No, he didn't.
If that was a reason to remind us about what happened, did it stop it?
I'm not, you see, the intention may not to
Yes.
stop other coups.
No, but you made that
The
statement.
intention,
You
yes,
made that
yes,
statement
yes,
that naming the airport after Kotoka was a reminder to us what had happened.
I said it
No, he
could
said
be.
it could be those people.
Yes,
thinking.
I could be
Yes,
those people
yeah.
thinking. That's the
That's
point.
what he
would
said.
not stop.
Mr. Jantua, Mr.
That was
Jantua,
a
but I
legal
want us
Okay, Mr. Jansen.
I want
since
us-
you
He
asked the
chose
question-
his words carefully.
Yes.
Today, I'm just backing your legal fees, please.
So I can understand the passion, the emotional attachment,
Yeah.
especially to the overthrow of Dr. Kwame.
Yes.
I'm an Nkrumahist.
He
I
lived
believe
it.
in his ideals. Any day, any time, I will choose Nkrumah even over Flight Lieutenant General John Rawlings, the founder of my own political party. But the truth is that I do not subscribe, like Lord Sumption, I indicated, I do not subscribe to the view that we should annihilate our past, largely because at the time that it was done, though accepted today in our current values, it may be abhorred. I don't agree with that school of thought. And so you can raise political demands that the Accra International Airport be renamed, but to enshrine it or to give it a legal impetus like we are seeking to do, I'm a bit uncomfortable with it, to be in all honesty. That's my view on it.
George.
Yeah, thank you, Counsel. I'm happy with your legal education. Very, very insightful.